Now it's time to test our knowledge of what we learned. Let's talk about how to determine the appropriate vSphere edition based on customer requirements. For example, let's say that we have at the Wirebrain Coffee Company a small remote office. It's going to be a new pop-up coffee shop. They just have a very small compute infrastructure. They just have requirements for a few virtual machines. Which edition of VMware vSphere should we use? I'll give you a second to think about it. And the answer is one of the Robo editions, the Remote Office Branch Office vSphere editions. They come in standard, advanced, and enterprise. For this small location, maybe the Robo Standard Edition would be the right choice. Next question, what if we had a data center that required load balancing of the memory and CPU resources across, let's say, an 8-host cluster? Which edition of vSphere should we select in that use case? Well, the answer, of course, is vSphere Enterprise Plus, because that's the edition that includes Distributed Resource Scheduler, also known as DRS, which isn't technically load balancing, but it does ensure that your virtual machines receive the resources that they need. And most people think of it as load balancing. The end result is very similar. Now, what if, let's say, the Wirebrain Coffee Company had a remote location and it required business continuity? If that location was destroyed, we need the data replicated off-site. Which version of vSphere should we choose in that use case? Well, the answer, and actually there are a few correct answers, but the primary answer, if you go with the lowest edition that supports vSphere replication, is vSphere Standard. Standard includes vSphere replication. There are also a couple of the Robo editions that do as well. And then next question here, what if we had a remote office, but that remote office required vCenter? It's large enough that we're going to have maybe 20 virtual machines there, and we really want vCenter for centralized management. But we don't think that it's going to grow in terms of the number of hosts, and the virtual machine count is going to remain low. The right choice there would be to use one of the vSphere Essentials kits. The kits include VMware vCenter, and it's going to be a significant cost savings to purchase a kit that includes vCenter. Next question here. Let's say that the Wirebrain Coffee Company wants to move to cloud-native applications. They're going to run their future coffee management application in a container. It needs to be very scalable. They're going to manage it with Kubernetes. Which version of vSphere should they choose? The answer, of course, is vSphere with Kubernetes, which is going to require VMware Cloud Foundation. And then last question here, what if we have a location, it's a data center that has a critical virtual machine that requires VMware fault tolerance with 4 vCPUs. There's 4 vCPUs on that virtual machine. Which version of vSphere should they choose? Well, the answer here is vSphere Enterprise Plus, because although vSphere Standard does include fault tolerance, it only includes fault tolerance for up to 2 vCPUs. So you'll have to go with vSphere Enterprise Plus because it includes fault tolerance with 4 vCPUs in order to meet those requirements. So those are just some sample use cases to help you think about the different editions of vSphere and how you would meet a customer's requirements by selecting the right edition in a specific use case.